You need to fail. Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's good to realize what you do wrong so you can make things better. So that is going to be the underlying idea of what today's video is about, because I have failed it quite a bit. And for instance, there's one thing that has been a big failure, unfortunately, that I need to go check up on and see how I'm doing, which is the chicken. So stick with this video. I'm going to talk about two different things, and hopefully I'll be improving on it. I just want to show you guys real quick. This is my chicken run that I had for my death layer chickens. Still got some food and water for them. I'm gonna have to move that around. And yes, it is a little bit saggy and poor shape. But just the other day, I thought I was all done with losing chickens and whatnot, because I have never had an issue here in this area. I lost 2 out of 5, actually 3 out of 5 of my death layers. So what happened, I had one right where the shovel is that was dead, and one was in there that was dead. This whole corner of the fencing was pulled down and something got in here. So I moved them over to my other chickens that I believe is a safe area. So let's go take a look at them real quick. Okay, so far so good. Alright, so there's my death layers. I have 1 duck and 1 breast. They seem to be getting along okay. So I tried putting death layers with other birds before, and it did not go very well. That rooster is a mature rooster, and he doesn't put up with anybody's shit, apparently. So they seem to be doing okay right now. They really do. So they're all kind of hanging out and doing good. So failure goes to wins. I do have a little water. I'm going to water them real quick, get a little bit more food for them, and check for eggs. So food aggression is a big one. My breast isn't really getting in there to eat, which could be an issue, but I'm just going to have to keep an eye on that. Alright, so what is up everybody? Thank you for coming and checking out this video. Take a look at my channel. I'd appreciate any sort of support for the channel. And yeah, seems like the birds are doing okay. It's a constant failure up to this point. It was good for a while. I had about a year to where I didn't have any issues. Maybe lose 1 or 2. I had turkeys for a little bit. They ended up getting black eye disease or something like that. So I ended up losing them. We had guineas. They didn't work out. Dialed it back to just having chickens, and we're losing chickens. So there is a whole string of failures right here. But with each failure, I learn. So I'm making the corrections as I go along. And hopefully this new coop that I'm building right now, which I'll be coming out with a video on a little bit of the build. I'm not a contractor or builder for that matter, but I'm trying. I fail and I learn and I try to do better. As another example, I'm learning, I'm trying to protect them, I'm trying to do better with raising chickens. The other thing, and what most of this is going to be geared towards, is gardening. Before I even started trying to garden, before I started trying to grow my own food, I knew I sucked. I can't grow anything. Some people have a green thumb, I have a black thumb. I just can't do it. The best success that I've had at gardening is completely on accident and not paying any attention to taking care of the plant. And that's been my best success. So maybe quit paying so much attention to it. But I'm going to pay a little bit of attention today. I've been starting a lot of stuff. Definitely trying to grow. I have the grow light system. We bought a little system, fairly cheap, but it's going to enable me to get some things started before it's time to put it in the ground. Mother's Day, I'm in 6B, right on the 6A, 6B line. I'm not sure exactly which I'm considered, but Mother's Day basically for this area is considered the last freeze date. I think it was within about 3 days last year, so it was right on the money. And we know if you're into gardening or anything like that, there's cold hardy things that you can get out, your spinach, your brassicas, things like that I started. I could probably get in the ground right now, but they're still a little bit young, they're still growing. I want a little bit more time with it, but I've also failed on those. For an example, I'm going to show you, if you'll be able to see, these are my bok choy. Now, they're not looking too hot. I think what I did is I tried to transplant them way too early. The root systems were not developed. It was one string going down to the bottom of the pod, which I'm using these cell pods. It was too early. I failed. I learned my lesson. I also put a pretty damn strong fertilizer on these things when I transplanted them. I wanted to give them a little boost. Yeah, these are nice and dry, but I wanted to give them a little bit of a boost to help them out. I think that was the final nail in the coffin for having these things grow. Now, I do have some stunted growth in some of my other cells that I'm trying to grow right now. My flowers were a complete failure. It was about a month and a half or 2 months and just absolutely nothing. And here's my flowers. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start again. This might be a little bit early, but I'm going to give it a shot. Today I'm going to start doing squash. I'm going to do this whole thing of squash. So I do a lot of Baker Creek. I'm going to do butternut squash. This one is called a candy roaster, crookneck. These I've had a lot of good success with. They grew like crazy last year, along with just basically a zucchini that did very well too. So I'm going to try some of these. Now, I know squash I've had success with. Last year wasn't so good. As soon as they started coming into maturity, I got a lot of powdery mildew and just a lot of issues with it. I didn't treat it when I should have treated it, and I just said, screw it. I'm done. My garden was not doing very good. I was a little frustrated. I failed. But now I know as soon as I start seeing these symptoms of cabbage worms, cabbage caterpillars, all these insects and pests that really pester squash and zucchinis and stuff like that. As soon as I start seeing that, or before I start seeing it, I'm going to address the issue. Powdery mildew, I have some BT. I think I have the oil, Neeson oil or something like that. I'm going to have to go and see what my supplies are. If not, I'm going to have to get everything that I need just to stop the failures. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I am also going to do some peas. These are just a bulk, non-organic, non-heirloom pea. I see benefits and, handicaps, I guess, to using heirloom seeds. They're a little bit harder to grow. They don't produce as good, but you can keep the seeds. Non-heirloom, you're not going to be able to keep the seeds, but you're going to have a higher success rate. So I've got these. They're just sugar snap peas. It is what it is. So I will say, as far as prepping goes, definitely stock up on seeds. We're coming into the time right now to where you're going to start seeing seeds at the stores, farm stores, Walmarts. Everywhere is going to start having seeds, whether you live in the desert, snowy mountains, or here in the Ozarks. Seeds are going to start becoming available. They're going to be reasonably cheap. Now, there's nothing wrong at all about the Ferry Morris seeds like this. This one I think was like $2.50, $3 or something like that. Now, that can add up. You can also buy things in bulk. This was $7, but I guarantee it's better value. It's far more than twice the amount of seeds that you're going to get in a smaller pack. So stock up on seeds. Right now is a good time to do it. Baker Creek. Baker Creek It's a place here in the Ozarks. They supply seeds. They have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of different varieties of seeds that you can buy. Now, they have a spring festival to where they knock $1 off. I think they're normally $2.99 a pack, and they drop them down to $2. It's a great time. If I was a little more of an extrovert, I'd take a camera there. We have tickets to go this year. We've gone every year so far. And we stock up on some seeds. Now, I'm stocked up on seeds. I don't really need any more seeds. There's a couple things that I want to touch on. Some peas. I want to get some more peas. You know, there's just a handful of varieties of food that I want to get seeds for, but asparagus, for an example, I probably have 20 packs of asparagus, most of them heirloom, to where I'll be able to collect the seeds and keep everything going. Now, when I've collected seeds from my heirloom varieties, it's been very good. I've gotten 3-4 packets per plant of seeds. That's actually quite amazing. So if you're not collecting seeds at the end of the season, collect your seeds. Leave a plant go. Make it a point to collect some seeds, for sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the peas. Now, there are some people that pre-soak these. I'm not going to pre-soak them. That might be a good choice to do, but since I started this video, I realized I forgot to pre-soak them. Now, I know they can grow either way. You know, it might be a little bit better to pre-soak them, but yeah, I know you can grow them without pre-soaking them. So what I'm going to use is a different system I just learned about, and it's going to be cups. Now, what I did is, I don't know if you're even going to be able to see it, cut little notches in right there. I got 4 notches. Then what I'm going to do is I have a clear solo cup. Stick this one in there. And now I have a water level. So I can see exactly where my water is. So I know if these need to be watered. I can also keep track of how much it's soaking up, evaporation, stuff like that if I do choose to do so. So this actually doesn't, this is the first time I put it together. I was hoping it would go down a little bit further, but that's going to work. For future ones, I could probably drop down the water area where the holes are to a lower level, but right now it's about halfway up the cup. So I'll fill it up above that. Once it starts going down and it gets just below that area, I know it's going to be time to fill up, so it's a good little watering system. So what I have, I'm going to go ahead and fill up. I'm going to get started on getting some seeds in. I have some seed starter mix. Now, I have learned from me gardener, Michigan gardener, my gardener, that your seed starting mix, your garden soil and all that stuff is all pretty much a scam. And the way he explained it, go check out that video on his channel, makes perfect sense. It makes absolute perfect sense. This guy's been doing it for a long time. I started following him when he seemed about 14 years old. He was probably 29. Getting older sucks, but yeah, he started at a very young age in a basement. He might even have been at his mom's house. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But he knew his stuff back then when he was a lot younger, and this is 10, 15 years ago. And I've been kind of following him, touching base on his YouTube videos and stuff that he does here and there, and he's doing really, really well. He's got good knowledge. He knows what he's doing. But he recommended this mix. This is just coconut husk, vermiculite, I think it's called, and perlite. So just to, I don't even know if you'd be able to see it. I got to block my face because I have face detection on, so it wants to constantly focus on my eye. But actually, so far, I've had a pretty good success rate with growing stuff in it. The flowers, I don't know if they didn't like the soil or what happened with it, but everything else seems to be doing pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up and fill up a couple cups. Now I'm just going to pour a good chunk in here. Mound it up a little bit and start packing in all these little holes, filling up each cell. Might actually have been a little bit much. So it's overflowing. What I'm going to do now is just kind of tap these fairly lightly in each cell with both my fingers just to compact it down a little tiny bit. And some of these cave way down. So now I'm just going to brush across it again, fill in those little holes that I just put in, and I'm going to do it one more time just to see where I'm at. Now for the most part these are all fairly tight. I mean, it's not tight, but it's got a little bit. So this back row right here keeps coming down. It keeps condensing. And there you go. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be butternut squash. All right, there we go. Got my seeds. I got at least 10. So I'm going to do 10 plants of squash. So I do go off the back of the pack for planting instructions. This is saying 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep. Now I might be doing this a little bit too early, but I can also transfer them over to here, and they're gonna have a lot of room to grow when it comes to these. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use a Sharpie. So that's what I'm looking at right there. That's about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Now I am going to drop one of these in each cell. Now I have been making the mistake of assuming every single seed is going to grow. That is not the case. So what I usually do, what I have done in the past that has been a failure, is just planting one seed. Then I realized I am like the only one that does it. Everybody else plants 2 to 3 seeds per cell. Now I'm trying to be conservative about it, frugal about it. I don't want to waste my seeds, but it's been a failure. Now with the squash, the seeds are so big in a small area right here that I am going to just do one. I only want 5 plants. So if I get 5 that grow out of this, I'm going to be happy. They're butternut. 2 plants is probably enough for our household. They can produce quite a bit. The good thing is they last a long time. I had a butternut up to about a month ago that was from last year's harvesting season sitting on the counter in my kitchen, and I wanted to do it for a test to find out how long that's going to last. They last a very long time. I think I was at about 8 months on that, and it was still edible. So it's going to produce a lot, hopefully. And now I'm just going to grab a little handful and kind of top these off here. So I'm not too worried about not having enough plants, because I really think this is going to be enough for me. Even doing one seed, even though I am not learning from my failures. Or I should say, I mean, I am learning from my failures, but I'm ignoring it at the moment. So I'm just going to real lightly pack this down. And good to go. So also on here I got the plastic cover. I will start with a little humidity for these guys. And what I do is, if you can see, I got the blue corner right there. I have a blue corner right here. So this is going to match up like that. Now I can go in and I can label these so I know what rows are going to be what. So for this, I just use masking tape. So now I'm going to come in here, right, butternut. Now I have that on my first line right here. That's going to cover this row. Then I'll have another label for here. So also I put it more on the side than I do on top, so I can allow the sunlight, the artificial sunlight, to penetrate the top of this without having too much obstruction of tape to mess everything up. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and go through my other squashes. I'm going to plant them accordingly, label everything, and get that knocked out. So this time, Try to get it without the glare. I don't know, hopefully you can see it. I put all the holes quite a bit lower than I did on this one. So now whenever I put these two together, my water line's right here instead of all the way up here. So that'll be a little bit better. So I do want to point out, I just pulled up one of the bok choy. And if you look at it, that's quite the root system that's on this. So it was doing pretty good, but as you can see, it's just, everything's gone brown and just not all that good. So I'm going to be doing this all over again. Here is another one. I can set that right there. This one definitely does not have the root system that the other one did. Yeah, in fact, take a look at that. Very, very small. It's a little bit smaller of a plant, but it was not developing correctly. So I got these all set up, drainage cut. I am completely out of soil. I had just enough for these. It might be a little bit shy. Like that one is about 1 inch underneath, but it should be good. I can even take a little bit out here, a little bit out here. There we go, even them out a little bit. So for 6 of them, I'm gonna do the peas. All right, so I got some seeds. So for the planting depth is 1/2 inch. I'm just gonna give these a little pat, kind of make them flat on top. I can actually use a whole lot more in there. That one's pretty full. And I also have this little tool here that came with my little kit for all these. It's got a little hole punch. This is a big seed, so I'm going to use the bigger one instead of the smaller one and go for 1/2 inch. There we go. All right, now good to go for next year. So now those are done. I'm going to label them. And now I have these 3, which I'm wondering what to do, but I do want to try some unique strawberries. I'm going to do these. I'm going to plant a couple strawberries. I'm going to get 1 more cup. Actually, I'm going to do 3 more cups. I'm going to do 3 each. So this one is from Baker's Creek, Yellow Wonder Wild. It's a little bit smaller strawberry, I believe, but it's a whitish yellow color. And then I'm just going to do Fairy Morris. I got 3. I do not have enough soil for it because I wanted to add 3 more onto it for these guys, these little strawberries. So get my knife in my pocket. And my soil is empty. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and build up some more soil. And I'll go ahead and show you what I do with it just because I'm doing it anyway. So right there I have 2 gallons and a quarter maybe of water. You're a little crooked. Now I have this, I forget the exact name for it. Hard as a rock. This is a brick of compressed coconut husks. There's a couple different substrates you can use for your soil, or not substrate, but base ingredients for your soil. It's kind of 50-50. I decided to go with this. It's cheap. I get about 20 of these for a few bucks. I'll put up how much this stuff costs. It's reasonably cheap. I still have a lot of these to go. And this is gonna make about half of the 5-gallon bucket full of soil. So I got about 2.5 gallons of water or so. I'm just gonna drop this in. And then really just sit and wait. So I'm gonna wait for that to absorb. Gonna have to break it up a little bit. Of course, it starts breaking apart on the outside till you get to the center. So I just wanna wait till the center is fully absorbed the water. If I do have too much water in here as I'm putting it into the cups, these guys, I'll just be able to give it a good squeeze. It's going to evaporate, it's going to dry out, so if it's a little bit over, that shouldn't be an issue. But I am trying to nail it the best I can. So yeah, we wait. I don't even have a watch on. All right, so I can't wait. I'm just playing around with it. I still have about that much to go, but this is just, it's slop. I mean, it's just like mud right now. right? So even if that was the case, I can just give it a squeeze. Now I have nice, moist, powdery soil to start growing in, but I still have a little ways to go on this. It actually might be a little bit wet, so I'll have to see if I do that or not. When I do this before, I'd put about a gallon in here, and I just kept adding and adding and adding water and getting the little piece that's left and running it underwater, and just, it ended up taking a whole lot more than what I originally expected, but yeah, it ends up yielding quite a bit of potting soil, starter soil. All right, so I am down to the very last bit. I'm just crumbling this up. Still a couple of dry chunks in there, but yeah, let me give it a mix. Get my sleeves up. And what do you know, this is gonna be about perfect. A little bit moist on the bottom, but I'm just gonna, a little bit wet. So nothing dripping out of it, but if I start squeezing, it's quite a bit wet. So I'm not gonna add any more into it, but I still have a couple dry ingredients to add to this. So let me do that. This, I believe, is called vermiculite. I'm learning about it, so I'm not going to try to preach anything, but it's going to help with the soil drainage, as well as helping with like the mildews and stuff like that that occur when you have a dome over your seeds, or you're spending a lot of time keeping them nice and humid so they sprout. When I did it, it was like, I was told 1 handful per gallon of soil. That seemed really light because they do the same with the other one, the perlite. And it just seemed a lot lighter than what it's supposed to be. And I got mold growing on my soil, on the top of the soil. So I don't think it was enough. So I got about 2.5 gallons here. I'm gonna do 1. I'm gonna double it. 2. And actually, I'm gonna add 3 into here. I don't think it makes that huge of a difference. But as of right now, better safe than sorry. And hey, you know what? Talking about failures, maybe this is gonna be a failure. Maybe I'm just gonna burn up my seeds and seedlings or something like that. But like I said, that's how you learn. You know, that's how you get stuff done. So I don't have a professional gardener, horticulturalist, and you can only get so much information online. So this is going to be the perlite. You probably aren't going to be able to see it. Both of these, I believe, are volcanic rock. I got the fine perlite. I was told that's better, so I'm just going off of that. This is going to help the drainage and everything as well. So I'm going to do 3 large handfuls. They say it's probably a good idea to wear a particle mask when dealing with this stuff, because it's probably not too good to inhale. It's just a stone, but it's very, very dusty and powdery. So that's just not something you want to inhale. Hey, kitty. Can't be causing all these shenanigans. All right, so sleeves going up. I just have a big old soupy mess here. Now the perlite and stuff should absorb a little bit of the water, even though it's made for drainage and stuff like that. But it is a dry substance that is going to help out some of the little bit of extra water I have in here. All right, just like that, I got starting seed mix. So this is going to be good for a while. I don't have to worry about using it all. I know I'm going to be planting some more stuff, and I probably should have done 2 bricks this time just so I got it and I don't have to worry about making it. Some reason, no reason at all, I've just been doing 1 brick at a time. This is about 2.5 gallons of soil. So as far as seed starting mix, it is absolutely plenty. Now it's a little bit moist. So I'm going to drain almost all the water out. There we go, strawberries. So that's the Alpine. All right, now I'm good to go on those. Yeah, you know what? They make gardening gloves, but how manly is that? I don't know. We got a lot of brown recluse here, so I need to really start getting better about that, to be honest. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do these white strawberries. These seeds are usually very small. Oh yeah, holy cow. So I'm just going to put a little divot. So now I'm going to go back to my other failure, which is not planting enough seeds. So I'm going to go into here. That's about 5 seeds. And I'm going to see how that works. So I got a whole bunch left over. You can't even see the seeds, I doubt. I can't get close enough, it won't focus, but seeds are very, very small on these. It's going to be a very small strawberry. Can't wait to try them. These are surface sowing. So as I made that little divot, I'm not going to cover it up. I'm just going to actually move some of the soil away so it doesn't fall into the wrong place. There we go. Now we got surface on those, but these are 1/4 inch. So now I got a whole lot of them out there. These ones are red seeds. I know obviously strawberry seeds are not red, but I got 5, 3 and 3. Let me just drop 4, 4, 5, 5. So 5, 5 and 5 on these guys right here. And hopefully we will get a plant to grow. All right, so now I got these seeds done. These are good to go back into the seed vault. I'm just gonna set that here, and I have a little compressed water sprayer. This puts out a nice fine mist. You're not gonna be able to see it, but, and now I'm just gonna give them a good little dousing of top water. The soil is extremely moist, as we know. I just want to give them a little bit more here, kind of like the shake weight, right? Here's what you need to do to lose weight. Yeah, and then squirt, squirt. Yeah, right. I'm gonna go ahead and give these a good little soaking on the top. I'm gonna hit the squash, and that's gonna take a minute, so I'll be back. I got everything done here. Got my blue, I'm gonna stick the dome on that for my squash, get those squared away. Get all my peas ready to go. Strawberries. And there we go. Ready to go up under the light. They're a little bit cold right now. I put warm water in here, so it's gonna hold a little bit of heat until I can get them inside. But yeah, there we go. And after a little bit of time, I'm gonna do this setup with the clear. So I'll be able to see how much water's in there. I got a whole bunch of clear solo cups. And yeah, that's about all I got. So I fail at this constantly. Just to give a little summary, I wanted to do this video just to kind of show you and talk to you guys about failures. It's okay to fail. It is definitely okay to fail. That is how you learn. That is how you improve. That's how you hopefully take 1 step back and 2 steps forward. Learn from your mistakes, and that's going to make you just better at whatever you're doing. So I started out with this with the black thumb. I killed everything I tried to grow. I had absolutely no luck. I've got a lot going against me just because I can't do it. I suck at gardening, but I have to learn it. I have to get good at it. I have to be productive about it. I need to have food coming in from my property to be able to feed us, and that is extremely important. So I've made some mistakes. I try to correct the mistakes and move on. So that is the point of the day, basically, to say it any longer. So definitely don't be afraid of failures. Don't be afraid of things going wrong on a homestead, in your little patio garden or anything like that, raising animals or getting a promotion at work. Keep trying, keep pushing forward. Eventually things are gonna work out for you. You're gonna have that aha moment and just everything's gonna make sense and you're gonna get good at it. So that is the process that I am in right now. I'm still struggling with things, but each year, each season, I'm gonna do a little bit better and keep pushing forward. So with that, I will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna end it with that, and that's about it. So peace.